I never intended for it to come to this, she began, her voice wavering. What started as a harmless friendship evolved into something I couldn't control. I'm sorry, I truly am. Her words, though soft and regretful, failed to ease the storm raging within him. Sorry. Dorian's tone was cold, his heart breaking with every syllable. Our marriage was built on trust, on shared dreams. And now you tell me it was all a mistake. Welcome to DCM Reddit, where stories of cheating wives are exposed. Let me know what time it is and where you are in the world. Subscribe to the channel and like the video. Now let's follow the story. At 47, Dorian Blackwood stood at the helm of Blackwood Engineering, a company famed for its innovative, earthquake-resistant designs. Once an acclaimed architect, Dorian had transformed his passion into a thriving enterprise in the quiet, upscale suburb of Crestmont. In a sleek, modern home that echoed with laughter and memories of a once happy family, Dorian lived with his wife, Celeste Blackwood, a 43-year-old creative director admired for her radiant charm and impeccable style, and their daughter, Isabella, a bright 21-year-old college student exploring the world with wide-eyed wonder. For over 25 years, the Blackwoods had been a symbol of unity and shared dreams. Sunday brunches on the sunlit terrace, long evenings spent discussing art and design, and quiet moments in the family study had woven together the fabric of their lives. Dorian prided himself on the trust and loyalty that had allowed him to build not only a successful company but a loving home. Yet beneath the glossy surface of their perfect life, subtle cracks had begun to appear, small omissions, furtive phone calls, and moments when Celeste's warm smile seemed shadowed by secret thoughts. Dorian, a man of meticulous habits and unwavering principles, noticed these shifts with a growing sense of unease, though he clung to hope that the foundation of their union was unbreakable. Late one autumn evening, as the golden light of dusk bathed Crestmont in a gentle glow, Celeste announced that her agency would host a lavish gala in honor of a groundbreaking advertising campaign. Although Dorian normally preferred the quiet comfort of home, he agreed to accompany her, determined to share in her world and celebrate her achievements. At the venue, a grand, modern hall filled with sparkling chandeliers and murmurs of polished conversation, Celeste was breathtaking in a figure-hugging emerald dress. Her laughter, once a constant source of solace for Dorian, now carried an undercurrent of guarded distance. Throughout the evening, Dorian's attention was drawn repeatedly to a sharply dressed man moving through the crowd, a suave account executive named Victor Reed, whose presence seemed to light up Celeste's eyes. Each time Celeste's gaze drifted in his direction, Dorian's heart sank just a little further. Although she reassured him with a soft kiss on his cheek and whispered words of affection when alone, Dorian couldn't shake the gnawing suspicion that something was amiss. In the aftermath of the gala, as they drove home beneath a starlit sky, silence settled heavily between them, punctuated only by Dorian's troubled thoughts and the faint echo of Celeste's distant laughter. In the days that followed, the warmth in the Blackwood home gave way to an unrelenting chill. Celeste's once frequent smiles became rare, she spent long hours on the phone and retreated into solitude when Dorian tried to reach out. Every unexplained expense on their credit card statement and every half-uttered excuse deepened Dorian's unease. His mind churned with questions: had he done something to deserve this distance? Or was the fault not his at all? Unable to bear the uncertainty, Dorian resolved to uncover the truth. He discreetly hired a private investigator, a decision that pained him deeply but promised clarity. Over several tense weeks, the PI gathered a dossier of evidence that shattered Dorian's once unassailable trust: photographs of Celeste sharing intimate moments with Victor Reed at private dinners, text messages filled with affectionate emojis and promises that Dorian had never heard, and bank records showing lavish expenditures on expensive restaurants and weekend getaways. With every new piece of evidence, the brilliant facade of the Blackwood legacy began to crumble, replaced by a bitter reality that stung like ice against his heart. Late one rainy night, as Dorian sat alone in his dimly lit study surrounded by blueprints and awards, he allowed himself to confront the evidence. The truth was irrefutable: Celeste was not only unfaithful but also involved in a web of corporate espionage. Victor Reed, it seemed, was more than a charming colleague, he was part of a rival consortium seeking to steal Dorian's revolutionary bridge designs. The betrayal cut deeper than any financial loss, it was a violation of the trust that had been the cornerstone of his life. Determined to face the truth head-on, Dorian arranged for a quiet evening at home. In the hushed ambience of their living room, with the soft hum of the rain outside, he finally broached the subject. "Celeste," he said, his voice measured yet heavy with pain, "we need to talk. I know about Victor, and everything else." For a long, agonizing moment, Celeste's eyes flickered with shock before hardening with a mix of sorrow and defiance. "Dorian, I never intended for it to come to this," she began, her voice wavering. "What started as a harmless friendship evolved into something I couldn't control. I'm sorry, I truly am." Her words, though soft and regretful, failed to ease the storm raging within him. "Sorry." Dorian's tone was cold, his heart breaking with every syllable. "Our marriage was built on trust, on shared dreams. And now you tell me it was all a mistake." The silence that followed was deafening, punctuating the finality of their crumbling union. In that moment, the man who had once believed in the strength of love now felt betrayed beyond repair. Celeste's gaze dropped, and in a near whisper, she added, "I don't know how to fix what's been broken, Dorian. I feel divided." The admission was a knife to his soul. Their shared history, every tender moment, every promise made, was now stained by deceit. The living room, once a sanctuary of love, had become a battleground where the past and the present collided in a painful reckoning. Over the following days, the tension in the Blackwood household became unbearable. Celeste, her once compassionate demeanor replaced by a steely determination, issued an ultimatum one stormy night as thunder rumbled in the distance. "Dorian," she declared, her voice sharp with conviction, "I can no longer live a lie. I want to embrace the new life I've found with Victor. If you can't accept that, then perhaps it is time for us to part ways." The words hit Dorian like a tidal wave. "You're telling me that everything we built, our family, our dreams, can be discarded?" he demanded, voice thick with sorrow and anger. Celeste's eyes blazed with defiance as she replied, "I've changed, Dorian. I deserve more than the life we once shared. If you can't let me be who I am, then I will have to choose my own path." In that charged moment, the irrevocable choice was laid bare, either accept a future where Celeste's betrayal would become the new normal or face the painful necessity of separation. The realization that the woman he had once cherished now embraced a life of secrecy and corporate collusion left Dorian hollow and resolute. He knew that clinging to a broken trust would only destroy him, and that sometimes the noblest act was to let go. With a heavy heart and a mind steeled by betrayal, Dorian began the process of reclaiming his life, and his legacy. He immediately engaged a seasoned family lawyer, Marcus Reed, no relation to Victor, and started divorce proceedings. But it wasn't only a personal separation, it was a battle for the integrity of Blackwood engineering. Over months, Dorian meticulously compiled every shred of evidence of Celeste's infidelity and the covert transfer of his patented designs to Victor's consortium. Inside the sterile halls of the courthouse, the drama unfolded in excruciating detail. Dorian's testimony was calm and precise, recounting every late-night rendezvous, every suspicious financial record, and every intercepted message. Celeste's defense crumbled under the weight of the incontrovertible evidence. In parallel, Dorian launched an internal audit at Blackwood Engineering, revealing a pattern of unauthorized access to confidential design files. The investigation uncovered that Victor Reed had been systematically siphoning off proprietary technology, a technology that Dorian had poured his soul into developing over decades. As the corporate espionage scandal exploded in the media, Dorian became a reluctant hero in the engineering world. Board meetings turned into battlegrounds, and the once sterling reputation of Blackwood Engineering was at stake. Dorian, though consumed by personal betrayal, knew that his duty was to protect the future of his company, and the countless lives that depended on his innovative designs. The mounting pressure culminated in an emergency board meeting at Blackwood Engineering's gleaming headquarters. Dorian arrived early, his tailored charcoal suit immaculate despite the turmoil roiling within him. The conference room, with its panoramic windows overlooking the city, buzzed with hushed whispers as board members exchanged nervous glances. At the head of the table sat Henry Blackwood, Dorian's aging father and one of the original founders, whose once unyielding support now wavered in the face of scandal. As the meeting commenced, Dorian calmly laid out the evidence: photographs, intercepted emails, financial records, and security footage, detailing Celeste's betrayal and Victor Reed's covert espionage. His voice, though steady, carried the weight of profound disappointment. "This is not merely a personal failing," he declared, "it is a betrayal of our company's very foundation. Our intellectual property, our legacy, is at risk." A hush fell over the room as the board scrutinized the dossier. Some members shifted uneasily, others exchanged looks that spoke of long-held suspicions. Amid the tension, Celeste was summoned to the stand. In a moment that felt like the climax of a long, painful drama, she was forced to confront the consequences of her actions. Her once smooth words dissolved into halting explanations as she tried to justify her choices, claiming it was all a misguided quest for independence and validation. But the truth was irrefutable. With the arrival of federal agents mid-meeting, a dramatic interruption that sent shockwaves through the board, Dorian's worst fears were confirmed. The agents, bearing warrants for corporate espionage, began detaining Victor Reed and several complicity figures from within the company. The boardroom transformed from a place of cautious debate into a stage for a federal crackdown. Henry Blackwood's eyes filled with tears as he realized the extent of the betrayal not only within his company but within his own family. In the chaotic aftermath of the board meeting, as federal agents escorted indicted executives away in handcuffs, Dorian was left to pick up the shattered remnants of his personal and professional life. The divorce proceedings continued in parallel with the corporate investigations, leaving Celeste isolated and desperate. Public opinion in Crestmont and the wider industry turned swiftly against her, and once esteemed colleagues now whispered about her downfall. Dorian, though battered by the betrayal, focused on salvaging what he could of his legacy. He initiated a series of strategic measures to secure Blackwood Engineering's patents and restore investor confidence. He personally oversaw the development of an improved, even more revolutionary bridge design, a symbol of resilience born of adversity. At home, the silence was almost unbearable. Isabella, caught in the crossfire of parental collapse, retreated into a world of academic focus and quiet determination, seeking refuge in the certainty of her studies. Late nights became a time of reflection for Dorian. In his private study, surrounded by the blueprints of his greatest triumphs and the awards that once celebrated his vision, he allowed himself to mourn not only the loss of his marriage but the ideal of a family built on unwavering trust. Yet even as sorrow threatened to engulf him, a steely resolve emerged: he would rebuild, stronger and wiser than before, and ensure that every act of betrayal would be answered with a calculated, just retribution. Months passed as the legal and corporate battles raged on. Federal indictments were issued, and Victor Reed's espionage ring unraveled under the relentless scrutiny of the FBI. The once illustrious reputation of Blackwood Engineering began to mend as Dorian spearheaded a series of bold, innovative projects that reaffirmed the company's commitment to excellence and safety. His new bridge design, refined in the crucible of betrayal and loss, became a beacon of hope and progress, a testament to the power of perseverance in the face of treachery. In the midst of this renaissance, Dorian found solace in unexpected places. While he never fully recovered the love he once shared with Celeste, he began to open his heart to the possibility of new beginnings. At a charity gala celebrating technological innovation, he met Liana Monroe, a warm, unpretentious woman with a quick wit and genuine kindness. Liana, a senior project manager at a rival firm, had faced her own share of hardships and was determined to forge a path defined by integrity and collaboration. Their connection, subtle yet profound, rekindled in Dorian a spark of hope that had long been dormant. Together, Dorian and Liana explored the possibilities of rebuilding not only personal happiness but also a network of professional alliances based on trust and mutual respect. Their partnership, both in business and in life, symbolized the promise of renewal. Isabella, too, began to emerge from her shell, inspired by her father's resilience and the prospect of a future unburdened by the ghosts of betrayal. With the dust of scandal finally settling, Dorian emerged as a transformed leader, one who had learned the painful lessons of betrayal and redefined his legacy in the process. Blackwood Engineering's stock soared as independent audits confirmed the integrity of its new designs, and the industry hailed Dorian's improved bridge as a marvel of modern engineering. At a grand award ceremony held in a state-of-the-art convention center, Dorian took the stage to accept a Lifetime Achievement Award. His speech, measured and reflective, paid homage to the trials he had endured and the hard-won wisdom that now guided him. "Today," he declared, his voice resonating through the hall, "I stand not as a victim of betrayal but as a testament to the power of resilience. Our greatest challenges have forged our finest innovations. Though trust was shattered and our family torn apart, we have built something enduring, something that will inspire future generations." The audience erupted in applause as Dorian's words echoed a message of hope and transformation. In that moment, as he gazed out at the faces of colleagues, friends, and industry leaders, he knew that his journey, fraught with pain and sacrifice, had ultimately led to a legacy far greater than he had ever imagined. Shattered Legacy, A Tale of Vengeance and Renewal, is the story of Dorian Blackwood, a man who weathered the betrayal of those closest to him and transformed heartbreak into a catalyst for change. Though the wounds inflicted by Celeste's infidelity in the corporate espionage orchestrated by Victor Reed ran deep, Dorian's unwavering commitment to truth and excellence paved the way for a future built on resilience, innovation, and redemption. Celeste's path, marred by regret and the consequences of her choices, became a cautionary tale of how ambition and deceit can ultimately destroy the very bonds they once sought to exploit. Meanwhile, as the legal and corporate battle subsided, Dorian found new purpose in mentoring young engineers, sharing the hard-earned lessons of his journey, and championing a culture of integrity that would protect the industry from the shadows of greed. Isabella, who had borne the weight of familial strife with quiet strength, emerged as a symbol of hope, reminding all who knew her that even in the darkest moments, the promise of renewal persists. And in the unexpected embrace of new love with Liana Monroe, Dorian rediscovered that life, though scarred by the past, could still offer moments of profound joy and genuine connection. As the years passed and Blackwood Engineering continued to thrive under Dorian's visionary leadership, the memory of betrayal transformed into a legacy of triumph. The revolutionary bridge design that had once been the target of espionage became a lasting monument to the human spirit's capacity to rebuild and evolve. And though the echoes of shattered trust would forever linger, they served as a reminder that every ending is but the precursor to a new beginning. Dear listeners, thank you for joining me on this journey through heartbreak, vengeance, and ultimately, renewal. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and if this story moved you, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of transformation and hope.